Morning, everybody, and I'd like to open the meeting at 9:03, and we'll get straight into it, shall we? Do I have a mover for the minutes of the ordinary meeting on the 27th of November 2024? Councillor Surat.
I move that the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on 27th of November 2024 be confirmed.
Seconded by Councillor Brumpton. All those in favour? 9-0. Councillor Brumpton.
I'd like to move that item C10 from the confidential agenda be moved into open, please.
Have a seconder. Councillor O'Neill. Going to go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. So we're moving that down to, it'll have to be LC8.
No, the L5.
L5.
L5, late 5.
Late 5.
It's going to be open, yeah. The LC is the confidential, so.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, L5. Okie dokie. Right, we'll start with the agenda. We're on 8.1. Notice to amend resolution OM/11.2024/54. Councillor Davis.
Thank you. I'd like to move that Council amend resolution number OM 11.2024/54 to read as follows: that Council 1 select Colin Douglas and Amanda Lee Stewart as the successful tenderer for tender 25009 wholesale purchase of quarry products Waroo South Road Network. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to A, enter into final negotiations with Colin Douglas and Amanda Lee Stewart up to a contract value of $812,650, including GST, and B, execute the contract if the final terms are acceptable.
Have a seconder. Councillor Brumpton. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Just for those following along at home, this is just a minor amendment, including the GST with the contract sum.
Okay, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. .1.
12.1's now moved into
Closed, yeah, so it'll
closed.
be Surat water allocation update. Is it your next one, Councillor?
Sorry, Rob.
Surat water allocation, first open report.
13.1. Surat water allocation update.
I have a question.
Do I have a mover? Councillor Hancock.
Happy
Your
to
name's
move, but
not
I
there,
also
is
have a
it?
question. Through the chair. Welcome. Is Acting Director at the moment, Wayne? Just a question with the resolution. Where it says on Mondays handheld hoses are permitted but no unattended hose or sprinklers may be used, that's a little bit confusing for me because I thought the system is that if we're not going to do Mondays, the only way we can enforce that is to actually turn the pumps off. Otherwise the pumps will be on and people will just use them anyway. Is that
Yeah,
am
I
I
think
correct?
I think what Matt's done there is that he's talking about that they'd be able to use handheld hoses with the treated water.
Yes.
Only I think our objective is just to not run the raw water pumps on a Monday.
So we are we're amending the Surat water. Is it Surat raw water schedule?
That's what I think we were trying to achieve.
Yeah.
This shows that it's all water. I mean, they can't turn the town water off.
That's right.
So they would. What he's saying there is that they'd be able to use handheld clean water hoses.
If I remove the note on Monday, so handheld hoses can be used, because if I was a resident reading that, when I read that, I just assumed that we're saying we'll be able to water our pot plants and gardens by raw water.
Yeah.
But we're actually going to turn those.
Yeah, we're trying to not turn the raw water pumps on a Monday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Councillor
Okay.
O'Neill. Oh, sorry, have you finished?
I've got my question.
Sorry.
My next question is, I just wanted to ask, if we adopt this today, we're adopting this effective immediately, is that correct?
Yes, we can do that.
Or would you have a suggested date? There's just no date in here.
We would be able to turn them off manually each day, but Josh is just about the only one that knows how to set the programming of it all. He goes on holidays this afternoon. He'll be away for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so should we choose a date in January?
Yes, that'd probably be appropriate, I think, yeah.
What day are the staff back in Surat? What date's Josh back in January?
He is back on the 3rd. He starts back on Monday the 3rd.
Monday the 6th.
If we
Monday the
don't,
6th, is it?
if
Yeah.
we don't put a date in here, CEO Rob, it will just happen when, it's just that if we're communicating to our community, we probably need to
Need a
tell them
date.
when it's
I
going to
think
happen.
too, if you leave it till that first Monday that Josh is back in the January, that gives us a bit of time to do a bit of corporate comms leading into it as well over the next 2 weeks as well. So.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, Acting Director, if we leave it to, say Josh comes back on that Monday, let him work out a system if we start on the 13th of January, just to give us a bit of wriggle room.
So 10 days later, did you say?
Yeah, well, the next week.
Next 7
Well, I
days
don't know
later.
what, if Josh gets back on the Monday, there could be a heap of stuff he might need to deal with before he deals with this. I don't know.
I think councillors, if you want to keep it clean on that Monday, just because the water's not, it doesn't have to be turned off on that. Well, Josh has come back. It won't take much to turn it off, I suppose, if Josh is.
No, he'll just reset so that it doesn't come on Mondays at all.
Just touchpad thing or something?
Yeah, well, there's two sides. There's two machines that operate. So one on the east, one on the west. So they'll have to be reset, so that it doesn't come on a Monday.
So my point is, if Josh is coming back on Monday the 6th, the water goes on at, I don't know, 5 or 6 o'clock in the
5 in the
morning.
morning,
We need to say Monday the 13th will be the first day because it will already be on that Monday that Josh, it's not, I don't think it's fair for the officer to come back to try and,
It'll already have been on
It'll
for an
already
hour and a
been
half
on,
before he
yep.
starts work, yeah.
okay, thank you.
Councillor O'Neill, did you still have a question?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. We currently have a Surat water schedule relating to the raw water, but we call it the Surat water schedule. We don't have a water schedule for the non-raw water usage, do we?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So if we're with that note, I actually do think it's important to communicate to the Surat residents that they have the ability to water using the potable water via handheld hoses. I can't,
Might have to add potable in there.
start calling it adopt the amended Surat raw water schedule.
Well, that's what I think too.
Because across the region we have a water schedule on potable water, but at the moment residents of Surat at any time using the potable water tap can water. So there's no restrict.
With the sprinkler though?
Yeah, there's no. Well, that's why I'm asking. There's no water schedule for Surat on potable water.
That's right, it's just open all the time.
It's open all the time.
Yeah, but they would not use it knowing that their water scheduled dates were
Monday. whatever.
Wednesday, Friday, Sunday
They'll use their town water, the potable water.
by by handheld hoses only, or do they just,
They pay for it, Jane.
Just like we do in town.
Yeah.
But we're not
Yeah, but you
educating them
can't-
water-wise. They just stop and water on that tap and they'll just turn this tap
That's why
on.
I'm raising it.
So, councillor, you're suggesting there maybe that first line is adopt the amended adopt this amended Surat raw water schedule, and then in the dot point then say, note on Mondays, handheld hoses, their potable water is permitted in that one there. Does that
can I
clarify?
just ask, when on Mondays, when they turn their handheld hoses on, it's going to be potable water that automatically comes out of that
No,
hose?
Oh,
No, they
You have to
have
go
to have a
and put
different
it on the
tap.
other tap.
Oh,
They have a different
Yeah.
tap.
Two taps.
Okay.
They turn one on, it won't be no water.
No water will come out.
So we are actually then giving a further schedule to them as such, because it's not just a raw water schedule. We're saying now on Mondays your potable water you can only handheld, which is different to what they've had. So it's actually more than adopting a raw water schedule, it's actually implementing a potable water schedule that on Mondays you can only handhold.
Couldn't we just change it that Mondays is potable water only through handheld hoses? Instead of complicating it with two schedules?
We can just say Surat water schedule. I'm back to Surat.
Yeah, back water schedule, because you're talking about two different, yeah.
Just have that, but just make the note a little bit bigger that on Mondays, handheld hoses are permitted through potable water
Yep.
or something similar to that.
That's been implemented across the rest of the communities to lessen the impact on water and to teach water-wise. I wonder, I'm going back to what you first shared, Councillor Hancock, do you drop it all together? Because at the end of the day,
They know that.
if they want to go and put a sprinkler on Mondays, the raw water tap's not going to work. They'll have to go and plug into the potable water, and they'll pay for it.
Yeah. All we need to do is
Call it the raw
call
water.
it the Surat raw water
Yeah.
schedule and drop that out because our community knows that anyway.
I'm going to assist with the allocation because the potable water is coming out of the
Yeah,
allocation anyway.
it will to a degree because they will pay for every bit of water they use out of the potable. So people who don't want to pay for the water, the diehards that absolutely want to do it and they'll pay for it anyway, they're going to do that anyway. And so it will. What it will stop is the people who are just leaving the sprinklers on. That's what it will stop. And so therefore, we should be able to save some.
And if it doesn't work, we can come back in 3 months
Yeah.
and say, it's not working, we've still, it hasn't changed behaviour because people have just swapped to the potable water and we might have to look at it if it's, yeah.
And I'm going to swap the word in the first one where it says to the following to ensure the annual water allocation is not exceeded. I'm actually going to say to assist because we can't guarantee it's going to ensure it. Like it won't ensure that, like if we have a broken pipe tomorrow, it's not going to ensure it. So I'm just going to say to assist with.
Councillor, do you want to
I'm
throw
happy
in
to move.
your date in there as well at the same
Yep,
time?
13th January. I'm happy to move it unless.
Councillor O'Neill.
Mayor, I just think it's important to share now that in our meetings with the Assistant Minister for Water yesterday, we raised this as a matter of concern about the allocation, and he has committed to going away and working with the department to understand whether there is an opportunity to increase that allocation, given the challenges we've had over the last few years. So we'll wait to see what feedback we get from the government.
Well, thank you for putting that forward on behalf of the Surat
I
community.
tell you, we work the room, Joe, we work the room.
Just through you, Madam Mayor, just some figures that you might be interested in. So I done up some figures of the water usage per household in Surat. Now I took off the full 365 megalitres. I took off that council is using 40% of that water usage. That still leaves, and we always use our allocation right up to it, if not go over. So each household per connection of water is using around about 1.1 megalitres of water a year, which is almost double of the highest of anywhere else, any other town in the Maranoa. So it's not as though you're going to really hurt them by doing this. I think your mind can be at ease with just cutting out Monday's watering at all. It doesn't affect it to a great degree. I
remember rightly back in about 2017 and 18 when all this started to come to a head, the state government, it might be all right to say they're going to go back and look at it, but we had to go back to the state government and fight because they wanted to take a 10% allocation off the Surat water allocation. And it was in the middle of the drought. We had to go back and fight as a council for them not to take that allocation away. So I really find it difficult to believe that any water authority is going to add water to the Surat allocation.
Because of that history.
Especially given that, because that's the question I asked last when we were discussing this, how does Surat compare to other areas of the Maranoa? And if they're using double the next highest users in the Maranoa, I think we would have a very hard argument with government about that.
And I understand where Councillor Flynn's coming from with the cynicism, but it's a different government than it was in 2017-18, and just simply to get the commitment that they're going to look at this with a fresh set of eyes, I think was a positive outcome. Whether they're able to do anything or not,
That's right.
we don't know yet. But
Didn't hurt to ask.
we thought while we had the opportunity and they were in front of us, then we should. And of course, the cabinet minister responsible for water is in fact our local member as well, and further representation will be made to Anne.
Yeah. Yeah, well, she didn't just say, no, I won't look at it, so, you know.
But I get where you're coming from, Councillor Flynn, but we've got to give it a go.
Might be all right to say the government's changed, but the complaints from further down in the Murray-Darling Basin haven't changed.
Okay.
Happy to move.
You're happy to move. Thank you, councillor.
I move that Council 1 adopt the amended Surat raw water schedule to the following to assist the annual water allocation is not exceeded at 30 June 2025, effective on 13th of January 2025. Got 2025, so I'll come back to that. Summer, 1 September to 31 March, Wednesday, Friday and Sunday East May water, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday West May water, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. 2. Advise the community of the change of schedule. 3. Continue to monitor the water usage and review the amended Surat raw water schedule prior to the 31st of March 2025.
I have a seconder. Councillor Davis.
Can I just change that wording a little bit up the top? Sorry, Nikita. Can we just change it to adopt the amended Surat water schedule effective 13 January 2025? To the following to assist the annual allocation not being exceeded at 3 January. Is that better?
Happy with that,
No,
councillor?
can we go back to that top one, please, Nikita? Adopt the amended water to the following to assist. Yep, thank you.
All good?
Yep.
Would you like to speak to it, councillor?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This came to the table a few months ago to knock back the Mondays to assist us with saving our water allocation. And I put forward that we give the community a few months of trying to cut the water allocation back. We've done that. Unfortunately, that hasn't worked, and the community are still using water even after it rains. And so therefore we will be trying this to see how it, and open to feedback from the community to see how it affects them, if it does affect them, if it doesn't affect them. And I think the communication to the community is still important, that we are still trying to work together as council and community to come under our Surat water allocation.
Anyone like to speak against? Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote.
Can I just sum up?
Yep, sorry. Sorry. You can.
No one else spoke.
Oh, I forgot to say something. I just wanted to thank the Mayor and Deputy Mayor for actually going forward and, speaking to the Minister about this for Surat. A community member has come forward and said to me, we've had that allocation for many, many years, and our town has grown a bit. There is more people, and we are using water in different ways. And so whilst it may not happen, it might, but I want to thank you on behalf of the Surat community for thinking of them and putting it forward in your conversations in Brisbane. And that is why we go down there and meet with the ministers. So thank you.
All good. All right, shall we go to the vote? All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you, Wayne. 13.2, Mitchel Showgrounds electrical upgrade. Councillor Burkirk.
Yeah, I'd like to move, but if there's any...
Got a different resolution, but you start.
Okay.
I'd like to move the council, one, include the Mitchell Showgrounds electrical upgrade projects for consideration as part of the 2025-26 capital budget deliberations with a total cost of $65,277. And I might add in there, or at quarter 3.
2, that's,
What quarter we next?
do you want me to try I've got it ready to go,
Right.
what you're suggesting, you can move it, but that council, one, include the Mitchell Showgrounds electrical upgrade project, A, for consideration as part of quarter 2 budget review.
Because that'll allot into the time before the show.
B,
Won't it?
Sorry, councillor, just rather than locking yourself into Q2, just upcoming budget, quarter budget reviews, just rather than saying which quarter, because you might be able to do it if you don't do it in the second, because you might have a bit more room in the third, or did you want to restrict it just to
because it's not part
Q2?
of an upcoming budget review, sure.
Yeah.
And then B is subject to the above, include as part of the 2025-26 capital budget deliberations with a total project cost of $65,277.
So that's only if required,
Yeah,
do you say?
which is subject to the above.
Subject,
It
yeah.
just it might cover it before the
Yeah,
next show.
yeah, no, yeah.
I'm happy to second.
I'll read 2, provide support to the Mitchell Show Society in identifying and applying for relevant grants that could cover all parts of the costs of the upgrade.
Cover all
Did I
parts.
say all
Happy to second.
part of the cost?
Okay, would you like to speak, councillor?
Yeah, just along with the other shows in our region, it's a big part of rural life, and for a lot of different reasons, especially in drought times, it gives them a bit of time to get away from their place. This show society's done a hell of a lot in the last 10 to 15 years with fundraising through their show, and used to be camel races and stuff like that, and they've contributed a lot to the asset of the showgrounds. So this is just the next step, and being a bit of a safety concern, I think it's very important that if we can, get it done before the next show.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
Yeah, I'm happy to support this and thank the Mitchell Show Society for writing to council. I've had a number of conversations with the president in relation to this, but of course the upgrade isn't just about the show. There are other events that are held there on an annual basis, and I think this would be an overall improvement to our facility, and we are actively, and I've heard it from a number of councillors, we've spoken in here about the need to continue to improve our facilities, and I think this would go a way to do that. If we're able to identify external funding, great, but I mean, the long and the short of it, these facilities are our, one of our largest community assets in all of our smaller towns and our larger towns in the region, and I think council needs to take a forward step on this. So I'm pleased with the mover accepted the addition of the quarter review, because I think there will be an opportunity as we get closer to the end of this financial year to identify where there may be some projects that won't be done in the financial year where this one could happen and support the show for 2025. So very happy to support.
Would anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. 13.3, in-kind assistance and fee waiver request, Mitchell Show Society 2025 annual show. Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that Council 1 endorse the fee waiver for the Mitchell Show from the 5th to the 15th of May 2025. Show dates are the 12th and 13th of May 2025. 2, approve the in-kind assistance request for the following: assistance with formatting and printing of the annual show schedule, water truck and driver aid, dust suppression, provision of rubbish bins, the collection of rubbish during the show and collection of rubbish post-show, floating stage, cleaning of the toilets prior to the show, and 3, be acknowledged in all forms of promotion of the event, and 4, allocate associated costs from the general ledger 2887.2248.2001 in-kind assistance major.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent, I have a question. In the general ledger 288 in-kind assistance major, how much money do we have? Is it something we could put in the report so we don't have to ask? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I think there's only 3,500 left in that account.
Is that after this 8,999?
No, that's before. So we'll have to do a journal. There's a couple of other accounts that we could use. So there's the materials and services, which is got $10,000 in it. GL 2883.2014.2001, which is Mitchel Local Development Operations. There's a couple of other ones in there. The other thing that's interesting is that a lot of this is for hire of the showgrounds.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, so, I guess without that, we'd probably be under budget. So there's a couple of, that's a bit of a weird one, I thought, but so it's an internal cost.
Can you say you're going to allocate the cost to that general ledger number if you don't have enough money?
We can't. We're liable as councillors for that difference if we approve something that isn't. Yep.
Yeah.
But is the fee waiver in-kind assistance? That's the question, or does that come out of a different general ledger thing? The fee waiver for the hire.
We pay that internally to ourselves, and it's part of that. So we would take it out of that GL and put it into another GL that council has.
That's what I'm asking. So it wouldn't actually affect the in-kind.
Councillor Davis?
It actually will, because there isn't enough money to cover it anyway. Like, once you take the fee hire out, we're still over.
Yeah, but it gets it down. I mean, I'm just asking it progressively.
We need to maybe use another. We need to use another.
We need to lay it on the table so you could come back with a different number.
I would suggest that, just until we.
What do you reckon?
Solution or Judy?
Through you, Mayor, so we've gone into, each town has an in-kind assistance budget of approximately $8,000 to $10,000 per town. The LDO has taken it from the regional one, which we've all chipped in and used some of it, so that's the remainder of 3,500. I think it would be suitable to take it from the Mitchell in-kind assistance budget, which is the GL 2883 that Seamus just read out. 2883.2014.2001.
The entire amount of 8,990.
Yeah, so there's available $10,000 there.
Yeah. And Mayor, can I just add, to the point that the director made, that the lion's share of this is coming from what is the cost associated with the hiring. We have many debates, Councillor Flynn will remember this, where we just thought, every show writes to us and asks us to waive the fee. Why do we have the fee in the fees and charges? And we would ebb and flow as what we would do. But the reality is that is the cost. And so if you are not council or not the show society and you're hiring it, there is a cost. And so we need to allocate to the community what that cost is. And if we waive it, that's on us. But it does need to be factored into, the books for council.
Yeah.
Well, Rob was here then.
Just on Councillor Neer's point, includes part of if you were hiring something, you'd think that the cleaning and that part would be included in that.
That's true. That pre.
It's not.
No.
No, but it should, you know what I mean?
It is in the notes, though, that it is responsible for cleaning prior. Council is only responsible for cleaning prior. I know they've included it.
Pre-show.
Yeah.
And not to preempt the weather, but the last couple of years they haven't had to use a water truck. It's just good, but can't preempt rain.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Davis.
Thanks. Just another question. It seems like the big expense is printing the annual show guide booklets. Has the Show Society utilises all of that $2,000 dollars contributed to there, 175 copies, or it's just, have we had a conversation, or is this just the letter that they've asked?
I think they do it every year. So that's we do that printing, as far as I understand it, and that's what we charge them to do that printing.
We
So
print
it's-
the programs.
Yeah.
And then we waive the fee.
Oh, I missed the last meeting, so I can't remember that part of it. I didn't get to the last one. So.
Anybody else got any questions? Are we happy just to change that GL number?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Councillor Burkett, you happy with that?
Yeah.
Councillor Vincent, are you happy? Okay. Councillor Burkett, do you want to speak?
I
Oh,
think
sorry.
just along the lines of the last resolution, it's just it's a great thing to have a show in your local area. Not all towns are lucky enough to have it, and it is a big draw card and a big thing on the calendar. And to follow on from Councillor O'Neill's points before, it does get used for other things, but the Show Society has contributed a lot.
Stop.
He's
Sorry.
not on that committee anymore.
Oh, thank goodness.
You're a bit too.
Good. My
Well, I'm
brother-in-law's
pretty
not.
sure he's not. He's not on the executive, I don't think. You want me to find out?
Oh, Mayor, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's what you reasonably know. I actually don't know.
No, it's down the bottom.
Who?
It's down the bottom.
Who's?
No.
No, but he
What
used
about
to be
vice president?
Yeah.
He used to be vice, but I don't know because I missed the AGM. So
I'm really sorry, but can I lay this on the table, please?
You can lay this on the table. All those in favour? 9-0.
Sorry.
mid closing too.
I know. I'm sorry.
I got to remember that sentence. I got to tag back in.
So you'll find out before we come back
Yes.
to that one. Okay. So we'll go to 13.4. Sponsorship requests, sculptures out back. Well, this will be a good one. Have we got any, Meryl?
I'm happy to move, but I've got a question.
Yeah.
Just along those same lines, do we have money in that sponsorship budget to cover this?
Is that a firm yes, Georgie?
Yes, we do.
Page
Councillor
44.
Vincent?
Yeah, I just wanted to triple check.
I was just going to ask, with the second, not the
Yeah.
acquiring the local prize, with the $10,000 to assist with event costs, do they, as they're starting to age and that, have they put something in plan to start to cover those types of costs from the previous year, holding funds available for the following year?
Through you, Mayor, Councillor Vincent. So far, I'd say in the past exhibitions, it's been the $10,000 has gone towards concrete and materials to secure the winning sculptures in place. But they are thinking long term in terms of maintenance costs and having some money in their kitty to pay for when damages or oils and stuff to keep them maintained.
The way it read, I just thought it was for the cost of the event itself, right?
I suppose just the 4 past exhibitions, it's more so been just to get them all in place with the concrete and loading.
And when we were at the sale yards, Dion said that they were looking at, because some of them now, like the cockatoos, they need freshening up, and he was talking to sculptors out back about what that looks like. Yeah. Councillor O'Neill, were you right? Oh.
Yeah.
Do I have a mover?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Brumpton.
I move that Council 1 approve access to lot plan 210WV1624 to the Sculptures Outback Committee for the purpose of an art exhibition from 14th of June to 28th of September 2025 on the conditions that all transport and main roads approvals are obtained where applicable. 2, sponsor the 2025 Sculptures Outback exhibition to the value of $20,000 cash sponsorship. 3, draw the funds from sponsorship budget GL 2887.2249.2001. 4, assist Sculptures Outback Committee and facilitate in-kind assistance requests to ensure the site is presentable for the duration of the 2025 event. 5, be acknowledged in all promotion of this event.
I have a seconder. Councillor Burkett. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yes, I think everyone would note that this year Sculptures Outback has just continued to get better and better, and we've got some stats on vehicle numbers. Somehow we lost 1,000 vehicles. They went into the venue but didn't come out. I'm not sure what happened there, whether they're all in the creek now or what, but apart from that, it's good to be able to see that and see the benefits of that, and hearing and seeing the television coverage we're getting and coverage on various types of media. I think it's been an amazing thing for the town and the region, and I hope that it continues. It's very exciting, I think.
Anybody else like to speak? Councillor O'Neill.
I'm happy to support this. I think this has been a great community driven initiative, and it just continues to get legs, and the investment that we make ultimately is beautifying the entrance to town, and I think we are getting absolute value for money by doing that. I wonder going forward though, similar to other events, this is a standalone budget item when we consider that for the next budget, rather than it being drawn from the sponsorship, similar to other commitments that we make on an annual basis. But I should also share that we spoke to the Minister for Tourism about this particular event yesterday, and it extended an invitation to him for the event, and whether he may like to open it, so we're sharing, and that was on behalf of the committee, but we are following up with the ministers to see if the dates can work, etc., from their schedule. But he was excited by this because there are a number of sculpture type avenues and entrances popping up across the state, and he thought it was good that Roma was doing it as well. So I think this investment is a worthwhile investment, and we're getting significant return, as I said, with what we put forward. And as we continue to improve, we've got some stuff to do there as well with the committee to connect the sculptures with the big rig and tying that all together. So I think we're going to see some great things out and around that whole precinct in the next little while. So
We just got to find him a farms day.
yeah.
That was a part of the deal. The other thing is that with the vehicles, even though we lost 1,000 in the creek there somewhere, that doesn't even account for the ones that walk over the
across the
road.
road, that's
Because they, yeah.
Huge number.
It was huge number, huge. Councillor Vincent?
Yeah, I'd just like to support this motion as well. From a tourism perspective, you never drive past there and not see at least one person, if not 5, 6, 7 people in there wandering around. It's a beautiful part of Roma out there on the Bungle Creek, and I just think these sculptures really just give it a real point of difference as you're coming into town. And congratulations to the organisations committee out there. They do a wonderful job of promoting that event and Roma at the same time.
They do. Anybody else like to speak?
Yeah, could I just make a comment? Certainly very much in favour of the sculptures out back and what they're doing. In light of and looking from a reverse angle, in light of what Councillor O'Neill has said about the other ones popping up, I wonder if it may be time for the local organisation to put a patent on their product.
On the sculptures
Well,
out there.
I think Aramac might have beat them. They've got a lot of sculptures out
Like, it's
there.
not up to us to make that suggestion, but I think they were the first in Queensland, so
I know there's one lady that might be a bit dirty because she put in for 2015 and never got a response, but she's happy that this is going ahead, but wanted to go ahead with it.
Thank you, Councillor. Do you want to sum up, Councillor Brompton?
I think it's all been said, but I'll re-say it again. It has been an amazing thing, and let's hope it continues to grow. And as Councillor, whose name I've just forgotten, O'Neill has said, sorry, just went whoosh, that to tie it into the big rig and see further development there in that entrance to town, and the impact on the tourism side of it will be amazing as well, just to see it further develop. Very happy
With
to
the
support.
bikeway going all the way up to Campbell's Park. Okay.
Well said, Councillor Vincent.
All right, on that note, we'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you. Are you still here? Oh, you're still here. 13.5. Christmas events in the Maranoa. Councillor O'Neill.
I move that council receive and note the officer's report as presented.
Have a seconder? Councillor Vincent, would you like to speak?
Thanks, Mayor. I know this report is about tabling the events across the region, which I think is great, and hopefully we are promoting these across our social media networks so that our followers are becoming aware of these as well. I know some of them have occurred already, but I do want to take the opportunity, given that it is part of this, just to, and I know there'll be a report to come back in the new year in relation to it, but the Maranoa Christmas Street Party last Thursday night was a success, and congratulations to Georgie and all of the team around you that worked to make that a success. I could see the staff all bandy together as they have in every other year, and you look like you're enjoying yourselves, even though it is a big event to execute. But just going off the numbers that I saw up and down the street, it was one of the strongest that we've had, even though we had that early shower of rain. It looked like it could have been a lot worse than what it was, and I understand on the outskirts of town it was, but it missed the CBD, and people came out in droves after that. So thank you, and I know I echo the community's sentiments when we say thank you for the work that you did in putting it together.
Thank you. I just got a question, actually. The sponsorship through the LDO budget, Georgie, you said they all have a budget? You all have a budget?
Mayor, our in-kind assistance is separated for each town. Our sponsorship is regional, so we all share that one.
Okay, so the sponsorship through the LDO budget, that's regional?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, but the in-kind is
Separated.
separated, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, I just want to follow on from Councillor O'Neill. I've been to 3 events, and I just want to thank all council staff for their involvement. The Mungalala Christmas tree, 100 years, was a success, even though there was a bit of weather. But the Christmas in the Park of Mitchell was huge. It's one of our biggest ones. That was really good, and the support of not only the council but the work camp in that. And to follow on from Councillor O'Neill, the Roma one, although it looked a bit scary for a while, ended up being a great night weather-wise, and people. So yeah, just a big hats off to everyone involved.
Yeah, good job, Georgie. All right, we'll go to the vote. Forgot about that part. All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you. Thank you. We're going on to the late. L1, everyone good? Wild Dog Barrier Fence, WDBF, panel nominations for Western Queensland. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
I'd like to move that Council 1 nominate Portfolio Chair for Rural Services and Biosecurity, Stock Roots, Wild Dogs, Pest Management, Councillor Brendan Seawright to represent the Western Division of the Wild Dog Barrier Fence Panel.
Have a seconder, Councillor Burkett. I'm going to ask, do you want it?
Yeah, no. Through the Mayor, CEO has already, put it past me before
Okay, thank
we
you.
raised the resolution.
Madam Mayor, that's just the process is if the resolution goes through, we will write to South West Rock proposing Councillor Seawright, and then there'll be a flying minute go around to the rest of the members there, because obviously there's nominations from other councils as well. That'll be dealt with as a flying minute.
Do you want to speak, Councillor Vincent?
Yeah, this is just a nomination to put Maranoa Regional Council forward with Councillor Brendan Seawright, and he's an obvious choice being the chair of our newly formed Biosecurity Advisory Group. So,
Yeah. Councillor Burkett?
Yeah, I think regardless if he was Paul, I think Brendan would be a great asset on that committee. And he'll follow on from former Councillor Julie Guthrie. She did a great job, and I think it's good to have someone there, especially now that we've formed a sort of a different group, a bigger group, I suppose, with more, hopefully a bit more power. So, yeah, no, I think Brendan will be an asset.
Anyone else like to speak?
I'd just like to thank people for the council putting my name forward. I do believe it'll be a great opportunity for us to have ourselves on that panel. So hopefully moving forward we'll achieve this.
Yeah, I think it's great, especially with the way the wild dog barrier fence is going as well. So
100%.
yeah. Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. L2, Queensland Treasury Corporation QTC Councillor Training. Councillor
Just got a
O'Neill.
question through the Mayor. Rob, this is one that the presentation's not attached, or the key findings aren't in the report.
Yeah, we spoke to QTC. They'll happy with the way the report was written and presented. It would, I did say I'd go back and check with them.
Yeah.
And I did, and that was the wording they were comfortable with.
Yeah, I just,
Happy for council to talk to it later on, but that was probably, it said obviously a lot of the stuff they present, that was the wording they were comfortable with in the report.
I'll just move we lay this on the table till later in the meeting.
Okay, all those in favour? 9-0. L3, adoption of local disaster management plan. Do I have a mover? Councillor Seawright.
I move that council, in accordance with the section 81B of the Disaster Management Plan Act 2003, Maranoa Regional Council approve the updated version 8.3 of the Local Disaster Management Plan. B, pursuant to section 60 of the Act, make the plan available for inspection to members of the public at the Maranoa Regional Council Customer Service Centre, Council's website and the disaster dashboard.
Have a seconder, Councillor Hancock. You don't have a name today, Councillor
It won't fit.
Hancock. Okay, would you like to speak?
Could I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
I haven't read the whole document through, but I've read spots. If there's things that look like they might be getting old in their writing, should we be bringing them up with you, Cam, or just at our next LECC meeting?
Through the chair, yeah, thank you. Definitely would be interested in what the report.
They're not going to affect an emergency at all. They're just little facts and things that are getting a little bit old.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'd be happy to take any feedback. What I did brief the local disaster management group on the other day is this is an initial update just to reflect the new department names and that just going into the disaster season. But we have flagged a more broader review in about February, just on the tail end of the high risk weather season. There's been a new state disaster management plan released, an interim one that actually has a fair few changes that we want reflected in here. So there's actually going to be quite a short period where this will be active. So yeah, definitely any councillors who've got some feedback on statistics, facts and that, more than happy just to send them through. Obviously CEOs as well, and we can incorporate them as part of our February review there. So thank you.
Okay, would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the local disaster management plan, the coordinators, Cameron and all his team, and even the outer areas for the input. Like the disaster management plan is critical for any council, and it's actually a great thing for even just the residents of the Shire to read through. So I just like to thank the work that gets put into it all the time, just to ensure that it's up to date and it's helps disaster events flow a lot easier than we would like them to not even happen. So when they do happen, it's there for us to reference, and it's a great thing to have.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to vote. All those in favour? 9-0. L4, application, development application, material change of use, multi-dwellings, 3 dwelling units, 39 Hoffman Street, Roma, reference 2024/21121. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brompton.
I move that development application for a material change of use for multiple dwellings, 3 dwelling units located at 39 Hoffman Street, Roma, Queensland 4455, described as Lot 13, RP 4452, be approved subject to the listed conditions and general advice. I don't need to list all those, do I?
No. Hi Kate, how are you?
Wendy, thank you.
That's good. Do you have anything on this? We all good?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward, this one.
Okay. Have a seconder? Councillor
I'll
Brady?
have a second, but I've got a question as well. I just looked at the address. If this is going to be multiple dwellings, the access is going to change to be off Cottle Street.
Yeah, so the existing house will keep their access off Hoffman Street. The 2 new ones will get Cottle Street, basically.
Where the shed is?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm happy to see.
Seconder?
And I was just going to, so the stormwater that the applicant that put in the concerns, they've all been addressed through the drainage.
Yep.
Do you want to introduce your sidebar then?
Oh yeah, sorry. Councillors, this is Logan Connell. She's our new planning officer who started a month or two ago. So this was her report. So we thought I'd bring her up to the council meeting to.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It's a good report.
All right, anyone got anything else? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
So we're going to go to L5, which was the,
Windmills, replace windmills
It
on.
was C10.
it was C10. So L5 is replace windmills on primary stock route bores with solar. I have a mover, councillor Surat.
I move the council receive and note the officer's report as presented.
I have a seconder, councillor Burkett. Would anyone like to speak? Councillor Surat.
As we travelled through this yesterday, just looking across the report, is actually a really good news story for the community in regards that like we had a new rural teams member start March this year, and in between March and the end of financial year, they achieved a huge task of replacing a lot of broken down and structures and I guess assets to the rural water facilities. And this was like to the tune of 380,000, and this was all funded by the state government. So it's a huge achievement. It's making our stock routes and even just for the locals who actually do have permits to access this water, it's just updating it and keeping it all functional. So it's a great thanks to the staff for continuing to improve our facilities for all the residents to use.
Very good. Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0. Well, they're too late on the table.
We'll come back.
And we'll have to come back to them, Madam Mayor.
We'll come back later. Yep. All right, we'll go into closed. Someone like to move that we go into closed? Do we have any conflicts before we go into closed?
Yes, I do.
Councillor Hancock.
Nikita, did you have my conflict?
I don't.
Come through yesterday's. And I've got no access to my emails at the moment. See if I can find it on this one, sorry.
Just lost the screen, Nikita.
I'll just have to do it off the top of my head. Rob, did you receive my email with my conflicts yesterday?
Sorry, councillor, if you didn't see it there, sorry.
There's that wording, if that helps a bit, if you want
That
to.
is perfect, thank you so much, Meryl. It won't let me access, everything's having a meltdown this morning.
Councillor Hancock, which email do you send to?
I can't ring you on my phone.
I'm having problems with my emails, Rob, so, sorry, CEO Rob, so it might not have went through, but I'll have to get
No,
some
I
tech
just-
support at morning
Only
tea.
one I got was regarding that investment.
Another
meeting.
one, yeah,
That's the only one I got yesterday.
okay.
And then
Nikita,
the
if
other
you
one was
don't
last
mind.
week.
Okay. It's C5. Surat RSL Hall Kitchen, request to lease. person with interest is Surat Post and News Pty Ltd. Particulars of interest is Surat Post and News Pty Ltd. Employs the daughter of the applicant. It's a declarable conflict of interest. I'm going to leave the room while the matter is discussed and voted on.
Is that the only one?
That's
Yeah.
right now, yes.
Someone, Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move in accordance with the provisions of section 254J3 the Local
Oh,
Government Regulation 2012.
Sorry, keep going.
You right?
Good, go,
Are you
Cam.
doing it?
No, I'm not. You're doing it.
I think she thought you were.
You're
saying to
doing
stay
it.
in the room.
It's okay.
Oh.
Just ignore me.
The council resolved to close the meeting to the public to discuss confidential items that its councillors consider it necessary to close the meeting. In accordance with section 254J of the Local Government Regulations 2012, the following table provides the matters to be discussed and an overview of what is to be discussed while the meeting is closed. C1, endorsement of Transport Infrastructure Development Scheme TIDS Works Program 25-26 to 28-29. C2, Santos GLNG Service Level Agreement, SLA 9. C3, Roma Airport Rental Car Park Licences. C4, Maranoa Road Grid Safety Project. C5, Surat RSL Hall Kitchen Request to Lease. C6, Headache Hill Quarry Land Holder Consultation. C7, Amplitel Proprietary Limited Renewal of Lease Part of Lot 1 on RP 173063. C8, Tender Award Construction of Redford Road Upgrade to Sealed Standard RRUP. C9, Development Infrastructure Charges Approval. C10.
No, it's been,
That's been pulled out.
It's gone.
So does that become C10?
That was the one we just put into
Yeah,
open.
but does C11 stay C11? It must.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. C11, request for fee waiver, waste disposal, building application fee and demolition bond. C12, request to grant discount 14007074. C13, lot 2, car park proposal to consider public art project. LC1, housing divestment. LC2, Australian Government Active Transport Fund, consideration of project nominations. LC3, Great Artesian Spa management fee increment. LC4, request for compensation loss of income. LC5, overdue rates commencement of legal action. LC6, Corf Road resheet. LC7, Eureka Electrical Vehicle Charging Station for in-June. Tender 25019, Bulk Haulage and Waste Management Services.
you forgot to say LC8. Do we need to say that?
Oh, did I? LC8, yep.
Another one? Whoop.
See?
What we added.
We added
LL.
L5, was it? What was the last?
Oh, yeah.
Late, it wasn't confidential.
LC8.
This one.
10.
The late
have
that
we got
wasn't.
LC8? Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, no,
12.
did we?
No,
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, no,
We
that,
did.
yeah, sorry, it's in there. Yep,
It's in
that's all
there,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was it in there?
Yeah.
All right, do I have a seconder? Councillor Brompton, all those in
This one here.
favour?
Yeah, it's in.
In the closed already.
It's
Yeah.
in.
Thanks.
All those in favour? 9-0. So I'll reopen the meeting at 1:36 and somebody move we go out of close.
I move
Councillor
we-
Seawright,
I move we go out of close.
seconder. Councillor Hancock, all those in favour? 9-0. We're going to go back to the ones laid on the table. We're going to start at 13.3. Councillor Hancock, you have a conflict?
I do, thanks, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor, in previous terms, I've declared this relationship as a prescribed conflict. On doing our training with the department, I realised that it's not. It's a declarable conflict of interest, and so therefore I'm doing a new conflict for today. So I just wanted to explain it's in accordance with our new training.
Thank you.
My conflict is on item 13.3, description, in-kind assistance and fee waiver, request Mitchell Show Society 2025 annual show. Declaring councillor as Councillor Joanne Hancock. Person with interest is Stephen Hancock, my brother-in-law. Particulars of interest, Stephen Hancock is the Vice President of the Mitchell Show Society. Type of conflict, declarable conflict of interest. The action, although I have a declarable conflict of interest, I do not believe a reasonable person could have a perception of bias. Therefore, I will choose to remain in the meeting. However, I will respect the decision of the meeting on whether I can remain and participate in the decision.
Somebody have some words? Councillor Davis?
I move that it is in the public interest that Councillor Hancock participates and votes on agenda item 13.3 because a reasonable person would trust that the decision is made in the public interest.
Seconded, Councillor Seawright. All those in favour?
Would it be 13.3 and 13.2?
Yeah, I just think
No, it's only 13.3 because that was a different matter, and previously I have already, so for 13.2, I've already previously put a declaration regarding a council facility, and so I'll just stand by that declaration.
because I thought that too. I just thought that because it's showgrounds, but I think I was just checking.
So remember, previously I have declared that, and councillor said that I can stay in the room because it's actually about the facility. The matter at hand is the facility, not the show society. The matter at hand here is the show
And
society
once again, that's the change in the.
in the training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favour?
You can't
Eight
vote.
Oh,
zero.
shiver, sorry.
Eight
Can you do
zero.
that again? Sorry.
All those in favour? I didn't even worry about you anyway. 8-0. Okay, so we'll go on to 13.3, in-kind assistance and fee waiver request, Mitchell Show Society
I
20.
was halfway through my sentence actually. I can't remember exactly the word I stopped on. But
Could have been
I think it was that, yeah, and or something. But no, it was just to say that yeah, it's a great job that the Show Society do in improving our facility, and this goes a long way of in helping them conduct their annual show and make some more money for the community. I don't
Okay,
think that's what I was going to say.
anyone else like to speak? Okay, let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 9-0.
Madam Mayor, I just need to be excused.
You're excused. We'll go on to L2 in the open.
Oh, have you received it?
Okay, do I have a move? Oh, sorry, I haven't said what it is. L2, Queensland
QTC.
Treasury
I only
Corporation,
got a hard copy.
QTC, Councillor Training.
We're just waiting on the information, so you might want to go somewhere else and come back to it.
Okay, righto, we can go somewhere else. Let's go to C1. C1 is endorsement of Transport Infrastructure Development Scheme, TIDS, TIDS, Work Program 2025-26 to 2028-29. Do I have a mover? Councillor Vincent.
I'd like to move that Council 1 receive and note the report and endorse the proposed Transport Infrastructure Development Scheme, TIDS, work program, noting that the 2025-26 council contribution amount of $1,728,563. Yep. 2, provide preliminary commitment to funding the contribution required for the 2026-27, 2027-28 and 28-29 programs. $1,728,563, $1,728,563 and $1,728,563 respectively, subject to annual review as part of the future budget deliberations. Are you right, Cam?
Yeah, I'm just indicating I'll second it.
Oh, okay. 3, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to sign the project scope forms for the projects on the program.
Seconded by Councillor O'Neill, is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Getting in early.
Anybody like, well, Jane, would you like to speak?
No, this is just getting a long-term program for the TIDS funding, so we've got it in the budget ready.
Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. C2, Santos GLNG Service Level Agreement SLA 9. Councillor Burkett. Brompton.
I'd like to move that Council 1, pursuant to Section 236 of the Local Government Act 2009 and Road Infrastructure Agreement with Santos GLNG, authorises the Mayor and Chief Executive Officer to sign Service Level Agreement SLA 9 for the next development tranche, Phase 7A and 7B of the GLNG project. 2, complete the necessary budget amendments within the 2024-25 Capital Works program to reflect the contribution to road upgrades required by Santos GLNG.
Seconder. Councillor Seawright, would you like to speak, Councillor?
This is a continuation of the GLNG project, and the officers have been working with Santos on where their future development is and have identified the roads that are part of this program. So I think it's a win-win for both sides.
Anybody else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. C3, Roma Airport rental car park licences. Anyone want to move? Councillor Vincent.
Move that Council 1 extend the following leases and licences for a further 3-year term at the current annual rate plus CPI, incrementing at the rate of CPI year on year. A, kiosk leases for Avis Budget Stromben Proprietary Limited, Hertz Thrifty and Sixt. B, car park licences for Avis, Stromben, Budget, Stromben, Hertz, Thrifty and Sixt. 2, receive a further report to be brought back to Council on opportunities for any vacant booths.
Seconder. Councillor Davis, would you like to speak, Councillor? Councillor
No,
Vincent.
thank you.
Anyone like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. C4, Maranoa Road Grid Safety Project. Councillor Seawright.
I'd like to lay this on the table that this matter be deferred for consideration at a future council meeting after a further councillor briefing.
Seconder. Councillor Davis. All those in favour? 8-0. C5, Surat RSL Hall Kitchen Request to Lease. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brompton.
I move that Council 1 decline the request to enter into a formal agreement with the applicant for exclusive use of the Surat RSL Hall kitchen. 2, request that the report be tabled at a future meeting of Council, which includes full details of how this facility operates and details of what is required for the kitchen to be hired out as a commercial facility. 3, no.
Full stop.
That was
Is that right?
That was, yeah, I think that was.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Seawright, would you like to speak, Councillor?
We've had some discussion about this, but some of the information was unclear about the status of some of the items in the kitchen, and so we've decided to get some more detail so that we can make a fully informed decision.
Anybody else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. C6, Headache Hill Quarry Landowner Consultation. Do I have Councillor Seawright?
I move that Council 1 authorise the Chief Executive Officer or the delegate to enter into a conduct and compensation agreement with the landholders on Lot 72 on SP 291948 over operations at Headache Hill Quarry for a period of 3 years with an option of an additional 3 years. 2, for the agreement, utilise a sliding fee model where the amount payable is relevant to the amount of material sold commercially per annum. Up to 100,000 tonnes equals 20 cents. 101,000 tonnes to 200,000 tonnes equals 30 cents. 201,000 tonnes to 300 tonnes equals 40 cents. and 301,000 tonnes of 400 tonnes equals 50 cents per
Seconder,
tonne.
Councillor Vincent, would you like to speak, Councillor?
No.
No? Anyone like to speak?
I'd just like to speak against the motion. I know that this is probably a figure of goodwill, but I'm just not totally sure that the amount that we're offering the landholder in this particular instance is enough to warrant any of the compensation.
Thank you. Councillor Brompton?
I'd like to speak for the motion. I'm just noting that this isn't actually a royalty payment to the landholder. The royalties are paid to the department. The department holds the rights to the resources on the land in a gesture of goodwill, just so that the company, the landholder has quiet enjoyment. We're willing to offer something, but it's not a royalty payment. It's a gesture of goodwill for them.
Did you want to speak, Councillor Vincent?
Yeah, I'm going to vote for this one. I feel that the compensation recognises the different, the sliding scale of impact, if that may be felt or not. It is a goodwill gesture on council's behalf for this one. So,
Would anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? Against? 7-1. C7, Ampertel Proprietary Limited renewal of lease part of Lot 1 on RP 173063. Do I have a mover?
Is this the Redford one?
No.
Oh,
I'm happy to
sorry,
move.
jump on.
Councillor Brompton?
That Council 1 enter into a lease with Ampertel Proprietary Limited over part of Lot 1 on RP 173063 for the purpose of a telecommunications tower for a 10-year term with the option to renew for a further 10 years. 2, charge an initial rental amount of $11,000 for the first year with an annual rent increase of CPI or 3%, whichever is greater, for the term of the lease. 3, assign income to GL 1491.1075, which is lease income. 4, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or delegate to execute the lease with Ampertel Proprietary Limited.
I have a seconder. Councillor Seawright, would you like to speak, Councillor?
This is regarding a telecommunications tower that already exists, and there's been an agreement in place with this company. We require a totally new agreement because the current period has expired. We've had discussions about the current rental amount that we are receiving, so we are in good faith continuing on at the same rate that we have.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. C8, tender award construction of Redford Road upgrade to sealed standard RRUP. Councillor Davis.
I move that Council 1 request updated pricing of tender 25018 from the 3 highest scoring tenderers for a minimum of 5 kilometres and a price per kilometre after that. 2, present the tender report at a future council meeting. Statement of reason as per local government regulation S254H, due to the significant reduction.
It's statement of reason is once the motion
Oh,
has
sorry.
been carried.
The motion gets up, yep.
Sorry.
Or you don't need it if it doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Seconder, Councillor Brompton, would you like to speak, Councillor?
Just that we have entered into a tender process. We've had some pricing back. We're asking the tenderers to submit another price for the 5 kilometres and hoping that it's within our budget or close to.
Thank you. Anybody else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. And your statement of reason?
Statement of reason as per local government regulations S254H, due to the significant reduction in the size of the project of approximately 57%, council requests repricing the tender occur with the 3 highest scoring tenderers.
Thank you. We're going to C9. Development infrastructure charges approval reference 2016/19510. Do I have a mover? Councillor Brompton. Everyone else is asleep.
I move that council decline the request to waive infrastructure charges payable under the existing development approval 2016/19510. Sorry.
Seconder, Councillor Davis. Would you like to speak, Councillor? Anybody like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. We're going on to C11. Request for fee waiver, waste disposal, building application fee and demolition bond. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I'll move that that council approve the request to waive the building application fee of $785 for the demolition and removal of the dwelling at 41 South Street, Roma, Queensland 4455. Approve the request to grant a waiver of the demolition bond of $11,025 for the demolition and removal of the dwelling at 41 South Street, Roma, Queensland 4455, to ensure the site is... No, that's it.
Can I suggest on the end of that that it be subject to a suitably qualified and licensed contractor being engaged?
I'm happy with that.
Is that where you were going with it, councillor?
Subject to a suitably qualified and licensed contractor being engaged.
Undertake the works.
Number 3 goes. The number 4 becomes 3. Decline the request to grant a waiver of the state waste levy of $103.04 per tonne for the disposal of the dwelling at 41 South Street, Roma, Queensland 4455 at the Roma Waste Facility. Decline the request to waive council's asbestos disposal fee of $170 per tonne and council's... No, that's not right. Nikita, could you just scroll up for me, please? Can you pick up 5, please? No, that's not what I want either. Just undo that again, please, Nikita. Decline the request to waive council's asbestos disposal fee of $170 per tonne and council's construction and demolition disposal fee of $63 per tonne.
I have a seconder. Councillor.
Sorry, just
Okay.
I ask, Madam, just the where you said a suitably qualified and licensed contract be engaged by the applicant.
By the applicant, yep.
Just make it clear that we're not.
And by the applicant and provided to, and notice provided to council.
Does he have to complete the work as well? Be engaged and complete the work?
I think what the intent of the resolution was, council, is that we're waiving the actual fee. He will still be required to lodge a building application, but we're not charging the actual fee. And as part of that application, they have to nominate who the actual contractor is, and we can check their licences and their qualifications.
I think Councillor Burkett seconded that, Nikita. Thank you.
Oh, by the applicant and provided as part of the building application.
Thank you, councillor.
Yeah.
Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Thanks, Mayor. I think the resolution speaks for itself. Council, I've moved the council show compassion in relation to the building application fee, but it does recognise that there is a cost associated with the disposal of the product that would come from the demolition of this particular residence that should be borne by the owner of the property and not by the ratepayers of the Maranoa.
Anybody else like to speak? We go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. C12, request to grant discount on 14007074. Do I have a mover? Councillor Davis.
Move that Council 1, receive and note the request. 2, decline the request to grant the discount due to the ratepayer not ensuring their contact details were updated as required. 4 becomes 3. Advise the ratepayer that the correct process was followed by Council in issuing notices and reminders.
Seconder, Councillor Seawright. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
I thank you.
Would anyone like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. We're doing C13 now.
C13 now, yeah.
12.1.
Was 12.1 originally.
Sorry?
Yeah, sorry.
Councillor Vincent.
Yeah. I move that Council 1 support the initial concept of a public art piece showcasing the Empire Hotel at the new Lot 2 car park. Is that the correct term?
Yeah.
Sorry, Karen. Lot 2.
Correct, yep.
And 2, be presented with a subsequent report outlining A, possible costs and delivery timeframe, and B, initial feedback on the concept from the adjacent landowners, Roma Historical Society and the Regional Arts Development Fund Committee.
Have a seconder? Councillor Flynn. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
I just think this is a great idea that's come forward from the staff. It will give vibrancy to the car park area there if at all the project can be done. And so this is just more looking into our options and how we might go about it.
Councillor Burkett.
Yeah, I'll speak for. Just to add to Councillor Vincent's, also to display the history of that corner. I think it's pretty significant in a few of our lives in different ways, and I think if it comes to fruition, I think it'll be great, as well as the idea of potentially putting some town information on the thing as well.
Councillor O'Neill.
I'd like to speak in favour of this as well. This is a very visual corner. It was an iconic, fixture in our community for a long, long time. I can remember singing John Farnham, You're the Voice on the pool table at this particular establishment many, many years ago.
We're all imagining that.
Yeah. I'm happy to do a rendition after the meeting, Mayor, if you'd like me to. But I think we need to capture the history, as Councillor Burkett said, and showcase that where we can. Council obviously made a big decision in the previous term, which is coming to fruition now in respect to this particular corner. We listened to the community. And we have now constructed the car park, which will take a lot of the pressure off the CBD. I think there are some really, unique ways that we'll be able to showcase the history of the corner, but also, the broader CBD, and there's ideas about, maps of the town, etc. So I think this has a lot of merit, and I look forward to seeing the report in the new.
Anybody? Councillor Brompton.
I have to speak soon as arts is in my portfolio. But look, I agree. Like there was a hotel on that site from 1877. That's a significant time period in Roma's history. It was the last version of the hotel was a beautiful looking old building, and it would be really nice to see that reflected somehow in the future of that area. And public art is becoming such a thing as well, for us to be able to capitalise on that also on like Councillor O'Neill said, a very visual part of town. It would be just a lovely, remembering of what part of the iconic history of Roma.
Yeah. Anyone else like to speak? Who moved it? Jane, do you want to just sum up?
No, I think everybody said it all. I think there's broad support for this idea, and looking forward to seeing the information and the costs come back to get the project underway if possible.
Thank you. Okay, let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. I'm up to LC1. Housing divestment. Have a mover. Councillor Surat.
I move that council resolve, one, in relation to unexpended funds of $1,032,855 from the Rural Service Centre pilot discontinued in 2013. 885. Thank you, Councillor Vincent. From the Rural Service Centre pilot discontinued in 2013. To unlink those funds from council's exit from the social housing scheme. Point 2, to submit the proposals to the Department of Housing and Public Works on local housing developments. 2, to affirm its decision to not seek registration under the National Regulatory System for Community Housing and exit the social housing system through the same property distribution split in lieu of payment to contingent liability under the funding agreements as had previously been agreed with the department. Council transferring 20 properties to the department. Council retaining 30 properties outside the social housing system. 3, a revised distribution split of accumulated surplus program funds on a per unit of accommodation/dwelling basis that is equitably aligns with the property distribution split. Some big words in there.
Have a seconder.
I'll second, but could we add an item number 4 to that, saying that council seek a full report onto our community housing situation, social housing situation, to a meeting in the new year.
Meeting or briefing?
Staff.
To a briefing from relevant staff.
No, add staff housing too incorporated or not? I was just thinking of a third house.
Yeah.
Seek a full report on allocation social.
Social and community
Social
housing.
and
And
community.
community.
housing, yeah. Via a briefing.
Via a briefing, yeah.
I'm
Happy with that?
Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Councillor
Councillor
Flynn's
Flynn.
happy with it, he seconded. Would you like to speak to it, councillor?
I will try. Being new to this in this current term, I'm sure Councillor O'Neill and Councillor Flynn have been across this a few times. Basically, it is the final contingency of talks with the Department of Housing in us moving away from managing the community housing projects in our shire. This is long since probably the agreement's been there, but it's just the debate of which funds and how to divvy it up fairly across it all. And obviously the funds that sit there for the regional pilot program are just a return to the department in regards for rent earned across that period from managing an extreme portfolio of community housing, social housing. Yes.
Thank you. Council, anyone else like to speak?
Just to say, I think that we do need, and quite happy with the motion, but as a council, we do need to have a look at the full portfolio of housing and work out where we are going as a council in the future.
Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. LC2, Australian Government Active Transport Fund, consideration of project nominations. Do I have a mover? Councillor O'Neill.
I move that Council 1 apply for funding under the Australian Government's Active Transport Fund for Roma CBD upgrade Hawthorne and McDowell intersection design and construction. 2, provide preliminary commitment to co-fund the project to the value of $400,000 council funding financial year 25-26 and authorise the CEO or authorised delegate to sign the funding agreement if successful.
Seconder. Councillor Davis, would you like to speak, councillor?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mayor. Grants are really important, as we all know, and the community knows that it is how we can achieve the investment that we need into our community. This particular project has been on the books at Maranoa Regional Council for a long time. It was part of the placemaking plans and the CBD plans that were done back when I first got elected to council, so nearly 12 years ago. And this particular corner has had one corner of it already developed. This would provide council with the opportunity to see that project completed. And I think that would be good to see the things that council start, that we actually finish. And I hope we're successful.
Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. LC3, Great Artesian Spa Management Fee Increment. Have I got to move it, Councillor Burkett?
I'd like to move that Council 1 approve the increase to the management fees to the Great Artesian Spa to an annual fee of $308,170, including GST. 2, fees to be paid from work order 14096.2325.2001, Great Artesian Spa Management Fees.
Seconder. Councillor Brompton, would you like to speak, Councillor?
Oh, just to say that this is just a part of the contract, and along with all contracts within the running of the Shire, I suppose. The Baringa Action Group do a wonderful job there, and they run the information centre, a large employer in the town, and all the money stays in the town. And since then they've purchased a community bus which offers free services for all the tourists and business houses around town. So one of many things they do. So yeah, it's just a tick and flick, this one today.
Someone else like to speak? Let's go. Yeah, like to speak.
I would, yeah. I'm in favour of this. And just to reiterate the points that Councillor Burkett has made, this is embedded in the contract that was awarded under the previous term, and it's in line with that. It's not a new decision today for council. It is part of that overall contract, and it's in line with, as Councillor Burkett said, other contracts that we have that have a CPI or fixed fee increase, and so I'm happy to support. And it's been budgeted for.
Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. LC4, request for compensation loss of income. Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move the Council 1 authorise payment to Baringa Action Group for the loss of income totalling $5,748.74. 2, amount to be paid from work order 140962325, Great Artesian Spa Management Fees. Is that supposed to have another number in there like that other one? 2001 or?
Councillor will check.
Is that the same number? Yeah.
Yeah, it is the same number.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2001 is just your materials and services.
So does that state go in there, that one?
Yep, you can put it in there.
Thank you, Councillor. Seconder. Councillor Vincent? Would you like to speak, Councillor Burkett?
Oh, just to say that the reason, just to explain to the public, that it was some renovations, some repairs to the actual hot pool, and in the same time they did that, they fixed up some other maintenance issues and handrails and chlorine stuff to benefit the downtime. It did go a bit longer than expected, but everything's back up and running now. So.
Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. LC5, overdue rates, commencement of legal action. Councillor Hoffman.
I move that council endorse the next step in the rates recovery process, that is to proceed to filing a statement of liquidated claim with the local magistrates court after the 6th of January 2025, serving upon the ratepayers who have 1, not paid the outstanding rates, 2, not entered into an appropriate payment arrangement, and or 3, not complied with an appropriate payment arrangement.
Seconder, Councillor O'Neill. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Just this is part of our process with rates. Unfortunately, a number of ratepayers haven't paid their rates. They've had the requisite reminders, and we're now moving to the next stage for those.
Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. LC6, Corf Road resheet. Councillor O'Neill.
I move that Council 1 approve the inclusion of a new project in the 24-25 Capital Works program for a 1 kilometre resheet on Corf Road, subject to a funding solution being identified and presented to Council as part of the Q2 review of the 24-25 Capital Works program. 2, write to interested landowners updating them on Council's decision.
Seconder. Councillor Vincent, would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. This is a step. It's not getting the job done just yet, but it is a step in the right direction from the countless number of conversations, CRs that have happened over the last little while in respect to Corf Road to the west. And so I think I'm very supportive of course of point one, but I think part two, where we write to the interested landowners, keeping them abreast of what council's doing, I think is a really important step. And I look forward to us to be able to identify how we're actually going to do this from a funding perspective.
Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. LC7, Eureka Electric Vehicle Charging Station for in June. Councillor Vincent.
I move that Council 1 receive and review the electric vehicle charging station licence agreement between Maranoa Regional Council and Eureka Proprietary Limited. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to sign the licence agreement with Eureka Proprietary Limited, under which Eureka will install, operate and maintain EV charging infrastructure at the designated location in June, subject to the agreed terms and conditions.
Seconded, Councillor Brompton. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
This is, I believe there's a couple of these in Roma already for the electric charging station through the state, and this is in June's turn to get one.
It is a state thing too, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. LC8, tender 25019, bulk haulage and waste management services. Councillor Burkett.
I'd like to move that Council 1 select Outback Contracting Group Queensland Proprietary Limited as a preferred supplier for tender 25019, bulk haulage and waste transfer services, noting the submitted rates in this report. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to enter into final negotiations with Outback Contracting Group Queensland Proprietary Limited and accept the contract if final terms.
Excuse me, Councillor Burkett, there's just some extra wording up.
Unless you're going with your own.
Unless you're going with your own.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer or Delegate to enter into the final negotiations with Outback Contracting Group Queensland Proprietary Limited for a contract value of up to $515,894 excluding GST, and accept the contract if the final terms are acceptable. 3, assign costs associated with the services to the waste management operations work orders W011466 to W011475 for the relevant facilities.
Seconder.
Thanks, ladies.
Councillor Vincent. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
No.
Anyone like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Have we got the information on L2? Is it an email, is it?
Just to the presentation.
Oh, it's just, okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
So what are we doing? Watching the
So
presentation.
we're going back to L2 on page 9. Queensland Treasury Corporation QTC Councillor Training. Councillor O'Neill.
I move that Council 1 receive and note the report on the Queensland Treasury Corporation QTC Councillor Training conducted on the 26th of November 2024, and to acknowledge the training's focus on financial sustainability, strategic planning and asset management to support Council's decision making.
Seconded by Councillor Brompton. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mayor. I was pleased to see the Queensland Treasury Corporation back at the table, and we accepted their invitation to once again come to council. In my first couple of terms on council, they were regular visitors, not as much in the previous term, but I think it is really important to have the relationship with the Queensland Treasury Corporation and it to be a strong one. They, I think, delivered some really overarching messages in respect to local government finances across the sector, and there were some very clear messages for me in respect to what we need to do here in relation to our rating strategy, how we manage our finances, how we are going to ensure that it is sustainable. It's evident from our change in approach with the budget this year that we are working towards, looking at our materials and services, our expenses, and reining them in, but also having a look at what is the revenue strategy in and around rates, which again is only 34% of our overall revenue, but it is an important lever. And it was clear that over the last little while, the expenses of council had been rising at a higher rate than what the revenue had been. And that can catch a council. I think we've got in front of that now, that we're in front of the curve. And the strategy that we've been very clear to the community about for this term will in fact embed a long-term financial sustainability goal that we want to achieve for our community. So I think it was really important to have QDC here. We should get them back on an annual basis, use the resources within their organisation to benefit the things that we want to do here, test some of the strategies that we want to undertake as a council, externally with a third party. I think that robust analysis is really important, and I think they can play a part in that. But there were no really earth-shattering points expressed contrary to what we are trying to do now, but it gives me great confidence that the decisions that we've made and to have a steady increase in the revenue of council while addressing the materials and service, our expenses, is the right strategy going forward if we're going to ensure that council's in a really strong financial position, not just in this term, but for the 10-year forecast as well.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? I'd like to just say that I found it was really good as well, especially being on the audit committee. So for me, it was a real learning curve because I got a lot to learn in the audit committee, as Councillor Brumpton will tell you. So, and I don't have to have any, we just have to be 2 councillors on there. We don't have to have any, set anything. So for me, and they were really pleased. Queensland Treasury were really pleased to be back in the room with us, and they want to build a relationship too, and they have been keeping an eye on our finances. I really thought it was good, and everything you said, I agree with. I thought it was very beneficial, and I hope that they do come out on an annual basis, maybe before we do our budget, during our budget, whatever that looks like, or put our budget to them and see what they think. So, yeah, very, very pleased that they came to the room. Councillor Brompton.
I haven't said anything because I was unable to attend that presentation from QTC. I am doing it this coming week with our new Executive Director of Corporate Services and the Chair of our Risk and Audit Committee. So I haven't made any comments about what they came and said because I wasn't part of that discussion. So just putting that on the table.
Well, I think you'll enjoy it because they were really good. Yeah. Would you like to sum up, Councillor?
Yeah, thanks very much, Mayor. I suppose the one point I think I missed in my earlier remarks was the importance that council needs to put around its cash and to fully understand it, which I think this council does understand what its cash position is, and making sure that we are communicating that in the best way that we can to the community. The breakdown of unrestricted cash to restricted cash, how we need to ensure that we have an operating cash balance to illustrate our long-term sustainability is really important. And if you continue to run deficit budgets and eat into your cash, at some point it is going to catch you. And there are examples of local governments across the country that had a fairly sizable cash balance that have ended up in administration because of the poor decisions that were being made in and around the generation of revenue. So I think the messages were clear. They're not messages that we haven't already discussed as a council, particularly in the lead up to and the resolution around this current budget. But it was a really good presentation, and I welcomed it, and I echo your comments around seeing them more regularly. in the chamber and working with them.
Yeah, okay. Okay, then nobody else like, okay, let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Do we have any other business?
Notice without motion for me.
And I've got a notice without notice.
You got a note, okay.
Motion without notice. Yeah, I said the wrong way around. So it's called long-term economic relationships. And what I want to propose is the following: that Council 1 authorise the Mayor Deputy Mayor, Councillor Hancock and CEO or delegate to continue progressing discussions with the Australian Filipino Consulate in Queensland. In developing a long-term economic relationship / partnership. And two, a further report be tabled in early 2025 for further consideration.
Okay, so we're going to bring that in?
So you move to put it on the agenda,
Yeah,
I
so we'll
suspect.
move to put it on
So I'm
the
moving to put that on the agenda.
Yep, seconder. Councillor Seawright. All those in favour? 8-0.
It's now on the agenda, so I'll formally move that Council authorise the Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Hancock and CEO or delegate to continue progressing discussions with the Australian Filipino Consulate in Queensland in developing a long-term economic relationship / partnership. Two, a further report be tabled in early 2025. That Council...
Receive a further
Yeah.
report.
A further report to be tabled in early 2025 for further consideration.
Seconder. Councillor Brumpton. Would you like to speak, Councillor?
Thanks very much, Mayor. As Council has been made aware informally, there have been some early discussions with the Filipino Consulate in relation to where we can build a very strong relationship for two reasons. One is because we have a ever growing Filipino community in the Maranoa. In fact, 8% of our population is made up of Filipino nationals, and there is an opportunity here to work very closely with the Filipino community locally and the Philippines in general in relation to the Olympics in 2032. This resolution would allow Council to continue having these discussions for us to bring something back for consideration early in the new year. Time is of the essence in respect to some other parts of Council that are moving, and I just think waiting until the end of January to progress this, we may miss a good opportunity to use the summer break to continue advancing this particular initiative.
Anyone else like to speak? We'll go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Councillor Vincent?
Yeah, I'd like to, my motion is community notification of construction of waste transfer stations. And I'd like to move that Council initiate immediate community notification of construction plans and general timelines for localities receiving waste transfer stations within the coming months. This is to include, sorry, construction plans and general timelines, sorry Nikita. This is to include social media, mail out to affected communities, and the plans that have been developed to be installed at the waste transfer stations.
Be displayed at the, displayed?
And the plans to be on display
Yeah.
at the waste transfer. So I move to put that on
Right, have a seconder for that. Councillor Davis, all those in favour of putting it on the agenda? 8-0. So the agenda item is community notification of construction of waste transfer stations. Back to you, Councillor Vincent.
Yeah, thank you. I'd just like to move, that's all right, that council initiate immediate community notification of construction plans and general timelines of waste transfer station construction. This is to include social media, mail out to affected communities and the plans that have been developed to be on display at the waste transfer stations.
Have a seconder. Councillor Davis.
I've just got a question, or even an amendment, Councillor Vincent. Is it, would it be prudent to have that council, one, all of what you've got, and two, that final drafts be circulated to councillors for feedback prior to dissemination?
Yep.
Be out of session though. Do we need to clearly say that? Because the next meeting's not until.
It'll just be via,
Circulated.
yeah. That final drafts be circulated to councillors for feedback prior to dissemination, and any feedback be directed through the CEO.
Happy with that, Councillor Davis?
Thanks.
Would you like to speak to it, Councillor Vincent?
Yes, I do. We are starting to get more and more questions in regards to the waste transfer constructions that are starting to roll out. They are going to happen quickly, and I just think we need to be keeping our community informed. These are generational waste facilities in our communities, and I think we just need to keep them informed so they know what's happening.
Anyone else like to speak? Let's go to the vote. All those in favour? 8-0. Does anybody have anything else? Well, have a Merry Christmas. Very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too.
And we'll see you, well, we'll see you anyway, but because we've all still got other things we have to go to, but to the staff, well, only the three of you left, but okay. Yeah, and everybody have a great